You're listening to the World Footy Net Podcast. Welcome to the World Footy Net Podcast. You can email us at podcast@worldfooty.net or alternatively, post your comments on the World Footy Net Facebook page.
Good evening and welcome everyone to the 43rd edition of the WFN Podcast. I'm your not so humble host, Hooligan J. Broom. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, my handle is Hooligan Broom. And with us tonight, we have our ever faithful engineer, Dre Footy.
Hello everyone, this is Dre Footy, and you can follow me on Twitter as well, at Dre Footy, and join the banter with the rest of us. Love to hear from you.
All right, and we also have, from the city that never sleeps, the ever lovely Alex.
Hey guys, I'm Alex, and you can follow me on Twitter at AlexV with 2 E's.
All right, and we also have Andre Sherrard, who I like to call Angry, because really he's not that angry. But go ahead.
What's up? My name is Andre Sherrard. You can follow me on Twitter at AHT4005. And please don't give Antonio Cassano a mic ever again.
And last but definitely not least, we have the infamous Bobby Foo.
This is Bobby. You can follow me on Twitter at septic_Gunner for all the Spurs hating and general nonsense you can handle.
Oh yeah, did I forget to throw in a Spurs suck? Oh
yeah, you did.
I apologize. Spurs suck.
Falling down on the job.
Well, tonight, guys, we have the Euros going on, and it's, for me at least, it's turning out to be kind of interesting, more interesting than I thought it would be. Some of the teams that I just figured were definite winners have not won. But first, let's get into this. After round one, has your opinion changed about any of your favorites for the tournament? Why don't we start with you, Alex?
Well, I think that with the England and France game, I pretty much expected the English to not do that well. Like, I wasn't one of those hopeful fans, you know. And that's exactly how the game went. It wasn't very good from both England and France, but I did see what England had going for them. They had a solid defense. Finally, they had a good goalkeeper. You know, no more Robert Green or Catastrophe James. And well, the French didn't disappoint. I think that they could have played better. They really could have beaten England. And to me, England did not deserve that tie. They really deserved to go down. And
Curse
they're
your
not
forking
really.
tongue.
The problem is with England, they're not making use of this great talent that they finally have. They're not making use of the younger players. The veteran players were okay. But I think that the younger folks like Oxlade-Chamberlain played well beneath their level, and I think that France are going to win their next game, and I'm not so sure about how England is going to do.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I kind of took some heat, but I was underwhelmed with England's performance as well. Definitely underwhelmed. I didn't hear you say anything about the Dutch.
Yeah, that was
that
just
was
terrible.
Absolutely.
Honestly, I barely saw RVP out there, and, you know, Denmark, that was a real surprise. That, honestly, I did not see that coming. And what's interesting is that, unlike, you know, the Netherlands and all those other teams, they don't have someone like RVP or Cristiano Ronaldo, you know, these millionaire superstars. It's like Michael Crondelli, who probably earns like $1 zillion less than Ronaldo and RVP, you know, it's true. And I think that's the way the tournament is going right now. It's people like Crondelli, Lewandowski, Shevchenko. Neither of whom have near the salaries of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Alex, the one person I didn't hear you mention
Yes.
was the world's greatest player, Nicholas Bentner. You did not mention him.
Well, I don't know. I didn't really see him really doing much.
He
like
scored that
everyone
goal.
was like, yeah, but you know,
At least he thinks he scored it.
he thinks he scored it. He thinks he did a hat trick and everything in his dreams.
Well, moving on. Angry. What's your take?
What's up? My take, well, the team I want to win, Germany, did their job, held possession against Portugal, and made sure that Ronaldo didn't do much. Other than that, I mean, it was pretty much kind of what I expected. The Denmark game was a shock, but I mean, Denmark's played well, and Denmark, they beat Portugal in their qualification for the tournament.
Right.
And, Spain, did I expect them to come out with no strikers? No.
Yeah. We're
No.
surprised, though.
I mean, that being said, 60 minutes and they played with no strikers and they didn't lose the game. And when the striker did come in, he didn't do much. I mean, he chipped the ball over the goal when he could have found an open Jesus Navas. He was in. And, I don't know what Spain's going to do about that. I mean, I guess the no strikers kind of helps if your striker sucks right now.
Well, I'll just say this. I'll tell you exactly what they're going to do. Busquets is going to get in the top of the 18 or in the 18 and fall over. That's what he's going to do. And they're going to get set pieces or PKs. Moving right along. Who?
Biggest surprise, obviously, was Denmark-Holland. And if it wasn't for the young Bentner, who I call TYB52, I don't think, I'm going to be honest with you, that guy cuts the ball inside. If Bentner's not on the 6-yard box, that guy, and guarded, because the two central defenders immediately went and marked Bentner. You watch that replay, they dropped off and immediately marked Bentner because he can score. It doesn't matter what anyone says. I know he has an ego the size of Thierry Henry's fish tank. But, I mean, literally, he can score. He can score. And they dropped off of him, or dropped off of that guy attacking the ball, with the ball, attacking the goal, and allowed him to take that shot. Just watch the replay, because I watched it plenty of times, and I said, look at that. They're dropping off to defend against the striker and the ball across the middle. Now, number 2 is against probably 2 of the best attacking players in football right now, as far as international football, Benzema and Nasri. I think England did a great job. The ball sneaks in the near post. It shouldn't have gone through 4 defenders.
Right.
And Joe Hart was obviously screened. But England is going to surprise some people. I said it on Twitter for the last month after Roy Hodgson was hired, and I'll say it again. England is going to surprise people because they're going to play team football for the first time in probably 8 years.
I would agree with that assessment somewhat, Fu. I think the caveat here is what was alluded to earlier. It needs to be the younger footballers out there.
Well,
for whatever reason, those older cats, they seem to suck some of the life out of the team. I don't know what that's about.
If you look at the last time England took basically one star in 96. That's all they had in Euro 96. And that was Paul Gascoigne. They had good players in that team. They weren't great. They weren't average. They were good. Squad players. And that's what Roy Hodgson wanted. I mean, if you look at Roy Hodgson's international record, he is a squad manager. That's all he is. Right. And he doesn't care about stars. He doesn't depend upon stars. He merely depends upon the players to do the job that they're required to do. much like almost every manager expects of his team.
Right.
You know, and besides the fact, Jesus, they've had 35 days, right, I guess, for him to even get an idea of what he wants to have done. Now, could he use the players that are suspended and injured besides Fat Frank? Yes. I think he could use Jack Wilshere and definitely use Wayne Rooney, because, you know, Wayne Rooney is a very good striker. You know, but, you know, other than that, you know, they have to play the players that they have. You know, everyone knows Milner is a donkey, and he doesn't deserve to be out there. It's a shame Gareth Barry can't play, because at least he can pass the ball.
Right.
James Milner cannot pass the ball to save his life.
Absolutely.
He just can't. It just boggles my mind that he's even playing. But
Yeah.
Steven Gerrard showed me that he still has what it takes to be a captain and to drive that team. And I'm not a fan of Stevie B. I'm not a fan. But I think this team is going to surprise people in just the fact that they're going to play to nick a goal, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I could agree
At
with
least
that.
until Wayne Rooney. At least until Wayne Rooney shows up.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something. Glenn Johnson puts that ball across the box in the first half, and Wayne Rooney's a striker. That's a goal. That's a goal.
Absolutely.
And I think France lose 3-0 after that. Because, you know, I just don't see France coming back from that. But my biggest surprise is the fact that Shevchenko scored 2 goals. 17th year of international football.
Yep.
That's pretty amazing. And the fact that he really doesn't play highly competitive football and still has the instinct and the chops to play the way he played yesterday, man, that was really neat. That was neat to watch. It was neat to watch.
Absolutely. Dre, I'm going to direct a question totally at you. Two. One of these questions I would ask Mr. Angry, but I think his opinion would be skewed. First
How?
question.
Hold on, how? Hold on.
Yeah, no, you wait. You hear the question, and then you'll
Okay.
understand why I think your opinion will be a little bit skewed.
Okay. All right.
First of all, Dre Footy, that is. What did you think about the Dutch display?
Well, you know, first of all, I want to say that I have enjoyed every single game so far.
Right.
It's been a very open, end-to-end type of tournament, and gone is what you usually see in these tournaments, with a lot of cautiousness, except for the England-France second half.
Yeah.
But it's been really built. It's delivered as advertised. As now, the Netherlands. This is one that I remember last week when we were talking about teams that could disappoint. You know, the Netherlands was one of them, and I had thought when I called this game, I called it a draw, because I think that a lot of people are underestimating Denmark for some reason, and I think it's because they're just not that, you know, sexy a choice as a team. But when the game started, the first 20 minutes, I thought the Netherlands were going to overrun Denmark. They were hitting posts, they were getting forward, they were getting shots on goal, and they were not converting anything anywhere. And you let a team as good as Denmark, you know, as solid as Denmark, hang around, they'll hit you and they'll hurt you. And I am surprised that they could not formulate more of an attack than they did. And so that's one of the things that surprised me about it. I really, you know, I have a lot of respect for Denmark, but I thought that the Netherlands would continue to attack and get something out of the match, but they fell off there towards the end.
They absolutely did. It seemed like their will and their drive to play gave way to their individual egos, a la England.
Well, you know, and you said that about England, and I do want to say something about Ukraine too before I end up here on this segment. But everyone's talking about how you had mentioned even you were underwhelmed by England, Hooligan, and I can't help but think that 2 months ago, when they didn't have a manager, and there was all this uproar about the team selection and everything, I really didn't think that they would pull anything together. I thought it was going to be a complete disaster. The fact that they got a manager in Hodgson, got a team together. Hodgson stood through all the Ferdinand debacle news and challenges to his, his authority. And he's put together a team, and he, to his credit, he put the Ox out there. He put Welbeck out there. He put those young players out there, and forget what other people are thinking. And England played a better team to a draw. That, to me, you cannot discount that. And you got Wayne Rooney, who's suspended for 2 games, coming back for, I guess, the Ukraine game. And you got to look at that as a success. You got to see a positive there, because I think they can build on that. You're talking about confidence. They played as a team, and I'm not used to seeing England play that way. I look at that and I say, well done.
Okay, I'll take that. I guess when I say I think a lot of the players that were out there were underutilized, and that's because the older players that have played together are more comfortable passing it to each other because they don't know what these younger guys are going to do.
Yeah, but it's
the
going to
younger
take
guys
time.
don't get a chance
They're going to
learn the game unless they are given the ball and the chance. A lot of these international games, it looks to me, and hell, I've never played in one, but it looks to me with the younger guys, you got to play it to understand it. You can't just watch it.
Well,
to
Hodgson's credit, he put them out there. And remember, England needed a result in this first game. So that explains the second half. When they parked the bus, they parked a couple of buses.
I understand that.
But they had to do it. Get that point and move on.
Yep. Second question to you real quick, and you may not have anything but a laugh for it. But that one drive, what the hell was Mario Balotelli doing? Why didn't he take the shot? Why did he walk in like he was too good to be touched?
So you're asking me why Balotelli did what he did? Are you serious?
See, exactly. And that's why I didn't ask Angry.
Did you not?
Angry would come up with some smart-ass remark. Let's hear it, Angry. We can hear it now. Why does your boy think he has a force field around him?
Because he does.
Fireworks.
Because he does.
Because he does.
Hey, you don't have that picture on your Twitter anymore. What happened?
Way of the Jedi.
Nah, I had to show my face to everybody now. I can't just show. Everybody's starting to think that I am the real Mario Balotelli. I'm starting to get mentions.
Yeah, you just act like him. You're not him.
Yeah. Well, and to you, because I'm sorry, Balotelli I think is talented, but why always me? Because you do dumb like that.
No, it was dumb. I don't get it twisted. He did not have the best game ever, and Di Natale should start over him when they play against Croatia. So I mean, I had no complaints. He only had that one good touch, I think, towards the second half, and that was pretty much it from him. So you won't have any complaints with me.
Let's continue the sounds coming out of your word hole. What were your surprises in the first round of matches?
I couldn't really. I mean, there wasn't really anything that surprised me. I thought that Sweden would do a little bit better, but Sweden might just be a one-man team, really, with Ibrahimovic playing a number 9 and number 10. Yeah, I mean, pretty much has to for that team. Because, I mean, I watched at least half of that game, and I see him in the midfield trying to get the ball, and I see him up top trying to, and... Ukraine, they came out, Shevchenko, we forgot how he was in AC Milan when he was banging in the goals. Then he went to Chelsea, and we all know what happened there. So, I mean, he had those instincts. And, I mean, you could tell with both those goals that, he was just in the right place. And that second one looked a little bit like a training ground goal. Knowing that Ibrahimovic would be in the front post, let me sneak in front of him. Because he's not going to really want to defend that.
Right.
So, I think that was really my only surprise. I mean, Denmark win. Yeah, I thought Netherlands would do better, but Denmark is ranked number 9 in the world. You must not forget that. So
Yeah.
Absolutely. Fu, what were your surprises?
Well, let's face it. I think Ukraine was a big surprise, and like Sherrard said, Sweden, they are pretty much a one-trick pony. But something I didn't know until, thank you, Twitter. They fielded the oldest team, average team age in the Euros, and it kind of sort of showed, because in the second half, Ukraine really had good chances. The match opened up furiously in the second half. I really like that. And Dre Footy, right there with it, he said, hey, this is better than the World Cup. It's better than a lot of club tournaments because these guys, almost all of them, want to win. Of course, it doesn't hurt that the transfer window opens on June 30th.
Good point.
A big surprise, most likely, I say, is Croatia, because they thoroughly dominated the Irish, offside goal or not. And I don't think it was offside. My apologies to all my Irish friends. I wish I had watched the Spain-Italy game, except the fact that, I was at Jersey Boys with my mom. So fulfilling some family duties there, which is very good, by the way. I recommend it to everyone. Great soundtrack. I love Frankie and the Four Seasons. But I think Russia is a surprise. Russia is a surprise, since very few of us get to watch any Russian players nominally.
Except Alex.
Play in Russia. Well, yeah, because she follows Cheska Moscow, so I suppose that's, I'm pretty sure if I was awake at 7 a.m. to watch a match kicked off at 5 p.m. in Russia, I would be able to watch it, but I don't.
Where's your dedication?
Yeah, I think national pride has something to do with it also. But yes, they're a surprise. The player that I thought should be playing, the one player that I feel sorry for is the fact that Zhirkov plays for the Chavs, and he doesn't get to play because they have the England left back playing left back.
Yeah.
He's a good player. He's a really good player. It's just a shame he can't play for the Chavs, or maybe it's a good thing. Yes, it's a good thing he doesn't play for the Chavs, because I think he's just as good. But, that was and the other surprise is the fact that RVP didn't score. I think that, the season, he's been going since December of 2011, and he's really having a tough hauling a tough road, along with the nation on his shoulders, I suppose. The pressure could have something to do with it too. But yeah, this is exciting. I'm excited for live football again, for sure.
Absolutely, and I just want to remind everyone, I told you Croatia was the dark horse. I said it. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Anyway, Alex.
Think you're special.
What are your surprises? I am special.
What do you want?
Well, pretty much, I pretty much agree with what everyone mentioned already, but I'd also add that just the fact that teams like Germany and Spain and the Netherlands, which are like the top 3 teams that everyone has been saying are going to do very well in the competition, have really let us down and really aren't playing the kind of game that we thought they'd play. I think that was surprising for me, especially Germany. Was just, I get that Portugal is a tough side, but honestly, I feel like other than Ronaldo, there's not many other players there, so Germany should have scored more than one goal that came on like the 72nd minute.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think what we're missing about our man for Ukraine, that I can't pronounce his name consistently, so I won't even say it, is I was watching that game. His movement off the ball was perfect. It's like he had telepathy with some of his guys. He just knew where to be. I think that's what netted him 2 goals.
Oh, I got a question real quick.
Yeah.
For Spain, if they decide to this goes to everybody. If Spain decides to play with a striker, do you put in Torres or do you put in the Bilbao guy?
Honestly, for me at least, I think either of them are fine. I think it's going to depend on the squad that they're playing of which one you put up top.
Yeah, I think either one could do the job. The key to Spain, I think, is in the midfield, the way they're able to control a match from box to box, and having Torres or the Bilbao guy up front, as long as they can get the ball to him, either one can produce, in my opinion. I'd be happy with either one.
Yeah, and I just want to say Cesc did look spectacular, at least I thought. And he learned how to play football like that at Arsenal. Don't let him tell you he learned at Barca, because he learned how to play football like that at Arsenal.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I tell you one other thing I wanted to add as far as surprises. I don't really see a really bad team in this tournament. I mean, you think about what they had to do to get here, the qualifications. But one thing that did surprise me in that first game with Poland and Greece is the way Poland capitulated after going up a man.
Right.
You know, they really should have finished Greece off. And they are, being at home with that crowd, with the electricity, and the way that they were playing before Greece lost the guy, had the guy sent off, you would have thought it would be 3 or 4 to 1 by the end of this game, or 3 or 4 to nothing by the end of this game. But they changed the way they played, and that surprised me. As far as a shock in the first round, Denmark didn't really shock me. Like I said, I had called a draw in that game anyway. But that didn't really shock me at all. Nothing else really got me. And I was really happy to see Shevchenko get his 2 goals, because there's another guy sort of like Torres that's been maligned in the press and by the fans, and a lot of it's really not his fault, and so for him to be at home and to be able to score like that is a great story, I think, for the tournament.
Yeah. Moving on. Alex, while you're there, who is your one individual standout so far?
Well, other than Shevchenko, I guess Lewandowski, I would say. He played but both games that he played were just very consistent, and I think that his team will definitely go far in the tournament.
Okay. Fu?
I don't know how to pronounce his name. He scored 3 goals for Russia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Alan Zagoyev.
Zagoyev, yes.
Thank you, Alex.
That guy. Yes. I was like, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't know. I just don't. I give up. It's kind of like the Czech and Croatian names. I just give up after the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And kudos to those commentators who called that Greece and Poland game. They did a magnificent job.
I'm surprised every Greece player is not named Papadopoulos, because that's what he's told.
Yeah.
Papadopoulos, number 12, gets the ball. Papadopoulos, number 3. Because at least that way I know I can pronounce that Greek name. But yes, that guy that plays for Russia, everybody, gosh, since I support the Arsenal, and I read 1,500 tweets a day about how Arshavin plays so much better for his country, and yada, yada, yada. And I go, of course. He's not required to defend for Russia. He's required to defend for the Arsenal. And,
right.
You can talk about it doesn't matter. Listen, a squad player is what a player on a football team is supposed to be a player on a football team. If you're required to do a job, you should be able to do that job, whether it's whatever it is. That's just the key. Everybody always says, "Oh, he's not selfish. He passes the ball all the time." Blah blah. And I said, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the other half of the game that he's supposed to be playing.
Right.
Instead of playing, I'm happy for him. I hope he gets the transfer to the Zenit St. Petersburg, and we get bags of money for him, like we paid bags of money for him the first time.
I would have to say that I disagree that. I do agree with the fact that Arshavin plays a much worse club game than he plays, for the national team. But I do think that these 2 games that he played for Russia, he played better than he played the entire Arsenal season. He assisted some of the goals, and today actually he had the assist from the free kick. So he's been playing
that's the
better,
thing.
and hopefully he keeps that up. Hopefully it's not just one of those phases.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to move it on a little bit before we get in this. Sherrard, who's your standout?
Well, Bobby, you took both of mine I was going to actually use, so I'm not going to use those two. The person that stand out was actually a person that I don't think any of y'all would expect. Daniel Del Rossi. He played in the back against Spain instead of playing his usual midfield position, and I thought he did an impressive enough job with that because even though they didn't have a striker, it's still Spain, and you're still defending against a team that possesses better than anybody in the world right now. So that's probably one of the players that wasn't mentioned that I was very impressed by.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Dre Footy.
Way to bring it. Well, honorable mention goes to Shevchenko because of the drama around it, and the fact that again, I think that much like the discussion we just had about Arshavin, I think that Shevchenko, when he was at Chelsea, wrong system, wrong manager for him, and he was stuck in a bad vortex there. He set up real nicely with the Ukraine. He was set up great when he played with Milan because the system suited his style. And I think even with his age and everything, I think you see the quality now. And for that, I give him the honorable mention. Actually, my player that most impressed me was the Oxlade-Chamberlain for England. I think between him and Welbeck, they terrorized France when they were given a chance. The speed and their movement off the ball. And quite frankly, I think when you put Rooney in there to go wrestle the ball and get it to these guys, particularly Welbeck, I think you're going to see a really impressive game. And it's going to come at a good time because I think when England plays the Ukraine, that's going to be a blockbuster match. But I guess we'll get into that a little bit later. But I think the Ox, out of a lot of impressive players, I think the Ox in the situation that he's under most impressed me.
Okay. Well, right here, guys, we're going to pause for a commercial break, and we'll be back in a moment.
Steven,
Yeah?
I'm leaving you. I'm running off with my yoga instructor. We're going to fly to Rome, have bruschetta for lunch, dance in restaurants even though there's no band playing, go skinny dipping, drink Pinot Grigio in the park. I'm not going to wear a bra. I'm going to splash around in a fountain, play hopscotch with young children, smoke a cigar, stay up till all hours of the morning discussing Machiavelli, and gesture incessantly with my hands.
Going for a ride on the Vespa?
Yeah, I'll be back in an hour.
Vespa, the Italian transport legend, now transporting Americans. Vespa has immigrated to the Twin Cities at 7th and Marquette across from IDS. Legendary scooters, fashion accessories, and more. Don't miss the grand opening Thursday, May 16th. All day long, they'll be giving away great prizes. If you're ready to ride, call 612-455-6666. If you just want to salivate, go to Vespa.com.
They say you ought to try something new every day. But like what? Speed dating?
You're just not my type.
It's not you, it's me. I just prefer someone who's better looking.
Yeah. If you want to try something new today, try Michelob Golden Light, the new beer that's cold filtered and draft brewed for an exceptionally smooth taste. Tomorrow you can always try, I don't know, kitten juggling. Michelob Golden Light, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Guys, welcome back, and we're going to keep the banter going. This next topic, who's been the biggest disappointment for you guys? For me, I gotta say, it was Why Always Me, Balotelli, and RVP. Balotelli, because he's who he is and whatever. The situation speaks for itself. Why he just completely disappointed me. RVP disappointed me for another reason. Not necessarily because of his play, but because I saw him wide open several times, and he wasn't screaming for the ball. Looked like he, of course I couldn't hear him, but it didn't look like he was screaming for the ball. Looked like he was just standing there, slack-jawed. And the other time was when he had the shot. There's a time to be selfish in this game, and he wasn't selfish. And I think he made a poor decision, and I think he regrets it. But, that's my opinion for what it's worth, which is probably not a nickel. But moving on, Andre Sherrard.
Yeah.
Who's been your biggest disappointment thus far?
Well, I guess we got to go with the big man, the the supposedly best player in this tournament, Cristiano Ronaldo.
I thought you were going to say Bettner.
And he disappointed. I would like to say disappointed, but I don't think it was mostly his fault. The way Portugal was playing, they were playing not to lose this game. They were playing for a draw. And the reason why I was thinking that, because I was studying both their outside backs. And both their outside backs would just stay in, make sure everything gets funneled out wide and let them do their business. And, it was basically like a Barcelona-Real Madrid game where Ronaldo would only get a couple touches at a time. He only had 38 touches in the first half alone. And for your team to win, he's going to need to have more touches than that. And I think he was, I read in SoccerNet that I think he was ranked 10th in touches the whole game. That's not going to work for Portugal to be successful. And, we can point to Germany being that good, and we could point to Portugal, playing in this defensive shell where they really weren't worried about what's going to happen. They were going to let Nani, Ronaldo, and Helder Postiga try to do their business up top. And they just didn't really have much going on.
Yeah. Alex?
Well, there's a couple of players other than Ronaldo who I think did pretty well, not as well as he could have, but there's some other players who disappointed me. Obviously, RVP, Yarmolenko in Ukraine, because he was just not passing the ball the right way, and Kirshakov in Russia, because I think it's the same problem with him as Yarmolenko's problem in Ukraine, inconsistent passing, just making the moments but not finishing them, and it just looking really sloppy. And also I'd say Salpingidis today in Greece. He shined in that first game. He came on as a sub in the second half and just scored that goal. But in the next game, he just kept running offside all the time. He didn't know how to get the ball and score. He totally forgot how to play. And I get that he was probably a replacement for Socrates, who was disqualified, but it was just, I expected him to really be that star player for Greece, even though I'm not really cheering for Greece, but it was a disappointment.
Yeah, absolutely. Bobby Fu.
Biggest disappointment. Well, Cristiano Ronaldo is a great example. I'm going to have to say Benzema. He's got all those players who can pass around him, and he couldn't find the runs to get through the. Granted, anytime you play someone who packs the 18-yard box with 7 players, you're not going to have much room to run through. So you're going to have to find a different way to get through and not play the ball on the ground or whatever. But I think Benzema, with all his hype and supposed, creativity, I just didn't see it. And it hurts France more, the fact that if he doesn't score, I think. it hurts France a lot.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. Dre Footy.
Well, Hooligan, you stole my thunder with Balotelli, and that actually was one of the guys I had to watch, but it was to watch for this kind of thing, and he was a disaster. And even the management, when they brought him off as early as they did, I think they recognized that. And I see him as an extremely talented player with a lot of wasted potential. And I don't know if his upbringing or his attitude or a combination of everything, but he has all of this natural talent, but his attitude just he's the opposite of a team player, and so it's hurting anybody he plays for, including Man City. I think Man City are better off without him, just like Tevez. But if I had to say, as far as a disappointment, the 10 players for Sweden outside of Ibrahimovic were a complete disappointment. They are. If there's one team that really, if there's one team that doesn't produce, it's Sweden in this tournament so far. They've played the one game, but they looked horrible. They can't finish, and I think they made the Ukraine look better than they really are.
Very possibly. I think we have to look at Sweden and the Irish, honestly, as our first, probably our weakest teams, all said and done in this tournament. Does anyone disagree with that?
I think I'd agree with that.
I can't disagree with that at all.
I agree.
Yes, I agree. Poland's better than either of those two.
Well,
Greece is better than either of those two.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I think
It sucks for me to say that, but
yeah, because we know how you feel about Greece, Dre.
Yeah, I think Poland could surprise us a little bit. I think they have potential. I won't go out and say that I think, oh, they're actually good. They're just getting warmed up. I won't go that far, but
a solid squad.
Yeah. So this next round of matches, we saw Poland and Russia and Greece and the Czech Republic today. What matches are we really looking forward to? Now, I'll say for me, at least at this point, the most intriguing matches coming up to me. There's always the Netherlands and Germany. That's going to be as much about the supporters in that ground as it is about the teams on the field. So I think that'll be interesting. But I think the most interesting coming up to me, believe it or not, will be Italy and Croatia and the Ukraine and France. I think the Ukraine and France, we will really see what the Ukraine is capable or not capable of. I think that'll just be a interesting matchup. Bobby Fu, what's the most interesting for you, old son?
Well, let's see here. I think the most interesting match for me is the fact that I want to get my money back for TYP scoring. But it's going to be Denmark and Portugal.
Yeah, you do owe me $5. You get?
I most certainly do. I owe you a $5. But.
Oh, you want to double down?
Denmark draws with Portugal, and they're in the driver's seat to get out of that group.
Oh, but no, that wasn't my question. Do you want to double down on the world's greatest player scoring?
Yes, I bet you he scores. Double or nothing.
Oh, come on now. You're going to lose your money.
Tenor? All right.
You heard it here.
All heard it, tenor.
Well, Bobby, say goodbye to that $10.
Hey, I put $10 down on England, so I'm in the hole already. So, but my interesting match is Denmark and Portugal tomorrow.
Okay. Sherrard.
Italy. I think the Italy-Croatia, basically kind of sort of similar to what Bobby's saying about Denmark. If Croatia beats Italy, then they don't have to really worry about the Spain game because they'll be going through. And they'll have the either Group D result, and I don't think that they fear any of those teams, even France and England. So, I think that game should be interesting for Italy and Croatia. If Italy beats Croatia, then, no offense to Ireland, but that's probably going to be their easiest game that they'll have. And that'll probably be an easier route than what Croatia would do if they lose or draw against Italy and have to play against Spain. So I think this is interesting for both teams for those reasons. And I think if they do make it, one of those two teams do make it out, I think they'll make it to the semifinals.
Okay. Alex?
Well, if Croatia beats Italy, then the sales of Why Always Me t-shirts are going to rise rapidly. But other than that, I'm looking forward to actually more of the Group A games, because the odds of Greece making it to the quarterfinals is like the odds of the U.S. men's national team making it to the final of the next World Cup.
Yeah.
Possible, yes, but likely, no.
Yeah.
Okay. Andre needs to be able to watch soccer on TV, so they gotta go down.
Who knows what Russia's gonna do? Yeah. If Greece beats Russia in their third game, I'm gonna call protest, because I think somebody
pays
making
somebody.
some side bets here. That's what I'm thinking.
It will maybe be another form of a bailout for Greece.
I guess so.
In football terms.
Yeah. Okay. Dre?
Hey, there are a lot of intriguing matchups, but I'm all about Group D. I want to see if my predictions or my feelings about England are right. They should keep a clean sheet against Sweden and put 2 or 3 goals past them. They should. And I want to see how France reacts after coming off the draw when they were the better team against England, but they didn't win.
Right.
And so with Ukraine on a high, now the thing about the Ukraine though, because no matter what happens in this France game, Ukraine can lose and still go hog wild against England.
Yeah.
To advance. I mean, that's going to be a humdinger when it comes up. We'll talk about that next week. But I'm all about Group D: France, Ukraine, England, Sweden.
Okay. I'm telling y'all, make sure you watch that Italy-Croatia game. The Ukraine and Croatia, I think, are teams to watch. And if Ukraine has a real weakness, France will find it. If they're strong, well, France is going to have a rough day.
I think they're weak in the back, personally.
Yeah, a little bit, but
at least
I
don't trust Mexis or Rami.
Yeah, what's interesting is Ukraine plays wide open. That's going to be interesting to see how France takes that.
Absolutely. So moving right along, what's everyone's impression been of the fans so far? I know we've all seen that YouTube of those Russian supporters beating up that Polish guy, which was kind of, I didn't even see what sparked it. It looked like just, hey, you're Polish, I'm going to bash your head in, and then proceeded to do so. But it seems like everyone else, I haven't heard anything around the campfire. Maybe Fu has. I haven't heard of the lads going at it with anyone else. Everyone seems to be generally behaving themselves. I haven't heard too much racial crap.
I tell you what, and I've put a few pictures on the World Footy Net Facebook page. Most of the people I see in the stands are making out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see. They're making love, not war.
Yeah, it seems to be
and one old dude's just going.
Yeah.
One old dude's just going to sleep.
Yeah. French school. Yeah.
Hey, Fu, have you heard anything around the campfire?
Yes, actually, it's interesting you would ask me this because basically most of the people on the chat boards have been from Poland, and they were rather upset with the fact that the Russian supporters were allowed to have a march around their stadium with a giant banner that said, "This is Russia," with a fist holding a knife, which I thought was rather interesting. But no, really, the banner covered 4 sections in that stadium.
Yeah, I saw that.
It covered 4.
Crap.
And and I'm not going to. The Polish have always been up for it. So have the Ukrainians. So have the Russians. So that sort of stuff, I really don't. I discount. Now, as far as the Balotelli incident with and same with Nani. Whenever Nani went to take a corner kick for Portugal, people were throwing stuff at him. In the corner.
Good.
And it wasn't German people. It wasn't German supporters. So, because the Germans are still a mild-mannered, non-warlike people. But
hey, Food, they're just misunderstood.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph, I don't want to hear that. That's so wrong. They're very organized people. That's what they thrive on. But I mean, the whole Balotelli thing, the Van Bommel thing, I think you're not going to hear much about it because I think Platini is throwing money everywhere to keep people to shut up about it. You're going to hear whispers of it, but you're not really going to hear. As far as trouble goes, no England geezers went. There's a few over there, but not many. Mostly because their bans aren't up until 2016 when the Euros are in France.
Yeah.
Which I was reminded of last night. Don't worry, lads, the bans are over in 2016 and it's in France.
That's going to be ugly. But anyway.
It's going to be really ugly. But I'm kind of happy with the way things are going as far as the fans are concerned. It was really neat to watch the Ukrainians and the Swedes yesterday because the entire stadium was yellow.
Yeah.
That's you never see that. That was really neat. You couldn't tell who was happy and who was sad. It's good to see that there's young people at matches and there's women at matches. That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. That's what we need to have in order to grow the game exponentially in the world, is to have everyone involved instead of just the lads.
Absolutely. Sherrard?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it short. I mean, it's just normal. You hear your troubles here and there, but it was just pretty much a normal tournament. I mean, normal fans loving the games, loving each other, and yeah, it's just what I kind of expected. You're going to find your trouble in every tournament. Every tournament's going to have some sort of trouble. You're not going to, we're humans. We're going to find somebody's going to be too drunk or whatever, and they're going to cause trouble, but, I don't think it's going to be much of anything else, and, yeah, it's just normal, and I'm glad that nothing really too horrible has happened yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Alex, you got anything to say on the subject?
Well, yeah, I haven't really seen or heard any of the supposed acts of racism at the games that I know the press has been talking about at the start of the tournament. So I do think that at this point we need to think twice about trusting the media as any other case. I feel like, they can always edit things together from other places and make it seem like there's a lot of discrimination going on when there isn't. So I just think we should always be checking our sources and before we jump to conclusions about things.
Amen.
Yeah. Well, hey, trusty engineer.
Yeah.
We got a certain uppity Macam.
Oh, it's Macam?
Yeah, who'd like to say something? You want to dial him up?
I'm bringing him in right
we can
now.
Rib him.
Oh yeah, I miss his lovely voice anyway.
Oh yeah. Hopefully he's had a bottle of scotch.
I was gonna say, man, this I've seen more violence at a Northeast Derby than I have at this Euro tournament. You can ask Kurt about that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey.
Are you on, you Macam twit?
Yes, I am on.
Welcome, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're on the ass end of the show, but we were just talking about what's your impression of the fans been so far?
It's actually been a lot better than I thought it would. I mean, obviously, today that was a full-on riot in the Poland game, and that's only going to happen. It's in their country, and I expected it from the Poland fans, but my overall impressions of the fans that aren't in the Poland and Ukraine it's been absolutely fantastic. They've been going to the games, and obviously you have been getting the casual racists at the training ground, but that's pretty much normal from that end of Europe. But the fans, like England fans, France fans, Netherlands fans, they've all been absolutely fantastic. Apart from the few Ukrainians and Polish that have been fighting and racist.
Well, I got a question for you, Kurt. When you from what you've seen at the Euro tournament, where would you think the average fan would feel more comfortable at a Northeast derby, standing in between Newcastle and Sunderland fans, or going to one of the matches at the Euros?
I think it would probably be a lot more safer at the Euros, if I'm honest.
That's what I would think. And that's my point. I don't think it's any different. I mean, we've brought up a little bit of trouble here and there. It's not any different than anywhere else.
Yeah. I mean, the Euro fans, the two sets of fans that were fighting today, I mean, they don't hate each other. They're just there because, they're two opposition fans. But if you take a derby, for example, they're two sets of fans that really, really hate each other. So that's the difference maker in this.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, before we completely close it out, Curdy, real quick, the second round of games. Who's going to be your standout game? Discount England and Sweden. Take that out of it because we know that's going to be a game you watch. But the other games.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing the France game. What are they against Ukraine next?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing that game because, and no disrespect to the French people, but they aren't really known for their fighting, and Ukraine are going to go.
That's an understatement. I like that. He put that really nicely too. I thought that was the turn on that one.
Oh my!
They don't fight. They don't train. They cuss their coaches out.
They walk out of practice.
They don't have any of that at the Arsenal.
That's a better French team than the French national team.
Hey, curse your forked tongue.
Dang. I don't know what you're talking about, Dre.
I carry around sharp objects. Beware.
Yeah.
Dre, what you talking about? Sir Alex taught Patrice Evra to do all that?
Hey, now let's there are some things on the show that are sacred. That is one of them.
Oh, I can't even heckle that. There's so many angles to come from.
That is Sir Alex to you, by the way.
Yeah.
Not Fergie.
And real quick, last question goes to our Macam lad. Who is your standout player?
So far it has to be.
Say it.
Nicholas Bentner.
I knew it.
Julian Lescott.
Julian Lescott's hair.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah. Well, guys, Curdy, we'll have to get you on more next week as we go back in and re-examine these matches. But for the crew at World Footy Net, thank y'all for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week.